Hello, my beautiful leaders. I hope you can see me. I'm sitting out on my back deck here. I don't know if you can see that. Anyway, so I'm working with back porch lighting, so it's pretty rough. But anyway, it's not going to stop me from sharing important information with you girls. September is your month. I am so excited for you guys. Lauren has already promoted to blue. You are well on your way to green this fall. And I know Ashley, Karen Keene, and Amy Calhoun, you guys are all going to hit green this fall. So let's make it happen this month. I watched a video and I took some notes and I wanted to share them with you. So basically, in order to get to green, or in order to get to any promotion really, what you want to do is you want a roadmap. Now, I've never done this, and that could be why I've been stuck at green since last November. Maybe. So anyway, but I don't want you guys to do that. I want you guys to get there. So here's the first thing. I know I already gave you guys 2 challenges this week, but I'm going to give you another one because it's the beginning of the month and you have to do it now. So we're going to draw up a roadmap, okay? Get a notebook and get a pen, and we're going to get into your back office. So the first thing I want you to do is go into your back office and go to royalties. And then I want you to click on company. Okay, so when you go to your back office and under royalties, you're going to look at August, right? August is already closed. It'll show you how many people you had in your company. That number is lit up. Click that number, and what it will show you is all of your sales and your team sales from the month before. So you're going to go down with only your first lines, okay? Your first generations, your personally sponsored girls. Okay, those are the ones you're responsible for. And I want you to write down what their PRS was and group them by color. Okay, so make a list of all of your white presenters, all of your yellow presenters, all of your pink presenters, and all of your blue presenters. I think that covers everybody in the group. For all the white statuses, what we're going to do is we're going to roadmap and see exactly what they need to hit their next goal. So white presenters obviously want to make it to yellow. That's a big one. So what you're going to do is you're going to write down how much money they have left, how much PRS they have left to make it to yellow. Okay? And what I would do is challenge them to sell a certain amount more than they did this past month. So if your white status presenter sold $200 in August, challenge her to do $350 or $400 this month, and just have that be her goal. Now that can sound overwhelming to a brand new presenter. So what I want you to do is do the mascara math for her. Now, for anybody that doesn't know what that is, basically break it down and show them how many mascaras they're going to need to sell to hit that goal. So take the number, divide it by 29. That's basically how you're going to get that number. So break it down for them and tell them that their goal is to sell, 10 mascaras this month, say. Okay, so, you can do it that way. Then you're going to group all of your yellow status presenters, and you're going to I want you to work with them on recruiting. Now, these are all going to be private messages or phone calls between you and your personally sponsored. Okay, so your yellow status, personally sponsored. I want you to work with them on recruiting. Give them some ideas, what's worked for you. Remind them that customers and hostesses are really who they need to be asking right off the bat. That's who they need to be asking. They already love the product enough that they wanted to share it, or they're repeat customers. Start asking them, hey, you could totally do this. Why not? Start your own business. $99, you get all this makeup. Work with them on team building. So if they're yellow status and they have a girl or two or a few girls underneath them, work with them on ideas to building that team, getting established as a leader. And get them thinking like a leader. Okay, this is really important. When we first start, you run into the problems, the back orders or the back office crashes or whatever. Here's the difference between a leader mentality and just a follower's mentality, basically. And that is that when a leader faces a problem like that, instead of complaining, although sometimes we complain to each other, but that's okay. You're not going to complain to your downline. When you face a problem, you come up with a way to spin it in a positive light. So, for example, one that's commonly used is for a lot of girls in 2014, in the spring of 2014, when they first joined, the 3D Fiber Lash Mascara was on back order. Like, how do you sell mascara that's on back order? But they spun it in a positive way. The ones that were successful, they said, this mascara is so amazing that they can't even keep it in stock. It's on back order right now. You need to have this in your life. So that's what a leader is going to do. Another thing you can work on them to help them think like a leader is to look for solutions instead of complaining. So think of workarounds anytime you face something or your team faces something. And then this for me is the most important. Being intentional about uplifting others and making sure that you're intentional about making the people around you feel better about themselves and not just like a number or just insignificant. So those are the things I want you to work with your yellow status presenters on. And it looks like in my notes I skipped the pink, but pinks and blues are pretty much the same. Team building. I want you to also work with them on duplicating so that your work isn't tripled, quadrupled. Explain to them that everything that you've taught them, you want them to go ahead and break down and help their girls learn those things. The other thing you're going to need to do, especially at Blue, is you're going to need to work with them on figuring out how to balance leading a team and still working their own business and keeping their own PRS up. One thing I've really noticed is the leader sets the pace for the team. So if as a team leader, we're only selling, we're struggling to sell $500 a month or struggling to sell our $250 a month, it's going to be hard for your team to be super motivated and on fire and rocking the month. Or, if you're slow in sponsoring, all of those things, you don't want to be, halfway through the month before you have your first sale. It just sets the wrong tone for your team. Now, we all have bad months, no doubt, but show them how it's done by your example. You go on vacation or it's the holidays and stuff like that. Show them how to work their business in between all of those things. When you go to the bathroom, take your phone with you. You could totally sell mascara from there. At a family gathering, you've got 5 minutes of time. You can totally do it. Or have your husband drive so that you can, be on your phone working your business. There's different ways. Let's see, what else? So basically that is setting the pace for your team. You're going to set your team's pace. So you want them to rock, you've got to rock. You've got to lead by example. And then the last bit of advice that Lauren Pipak had given was to turn your car into a mascara mobile, okay? So I think I finally have John talked into letting me put a decal on the back of the car. Finally! And the way I did that was I went ahead and ordered a magnet for the side of the car on Vistaprint. And he wasn't happy about it because he said it's going to rust the car or something crazy if it rains. So he's like, fine, go ahead, order the decal, we'll go ahead and put it on. So however you have to do it, even if you have to take the car chalk and write on your windows, 3D mascara on board, honk if you want something like that, anything. Be careful about that, of course. But you want it out there. You want your town, as you drive around, you want people to know that you are the lady with the mascara. Do that. Challenge your teams to do that. And then the most important bit of advice is to make sure that you're not asking your team to do anything that you're not doing or that you're not willing to do. So, like I said, setting that pace. If you're asking your team to sell, $500 a piece, you better be selling every bit of $500 a piece. So the one last thing, so when you're giving your team these numbers, okay, so you're given, say, your yellow statuses, and you say you need to sell, you do the math, and they need to sell 20 mascaras, okay? So it seems overwhelming at first. One neat bit of advice is to break it down for them, how they can sell 20 mascaras. So, maybe try to sell 3 at work. See if you can get 3 mascaras this month sold at work. Have 4 parties. If you only sell 4 mascaras at each party, 4 or 5 parties should do it. You should sell those 20 mascaras. So things like that. Just break it down into baby steps on help them roadmap how they can get there. And then hopefully when they're in a leadership position, they will be able to break it down for their girls. Now, for anybody that's not personally sponsored on your team, go over all of this with their sponsor, so that, you know, they can break down the math and help their girls get there. If you have a personally sponsored who is not active, go ahead and jump over and reach down that down line. So go ahead, but that would be the only exception. Other than that, try to work with your leaders to be working with their personally sponsored. So I hope this advice helps, guys. I would love for all of us to roadmap out our plan here, write it all down, all of our teams, and share that in this group. I think that would be really helpful. And let's all crush our goals this month. All right, ladies, have a good night.